10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Carl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Carl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Carl way.
I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. It's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up? It is Wednesday, the 25th of June. Williams and Blum here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne, MECHDYNE.com, enabling discovery. Go to Mechdyne.com. They are hiring marketing, sales professionals in Marshalltown and also Naperville, Illinois, where they have a location. Mechdyne.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring the show. Also, our friends over at Cody Road Bourbon. Go and pick yourself up a bottle for the weekend. Look at that beautiful bottle right there. Cyclone Fanatic theme. Okay, so we're going to just real quick lead with Haliburton. We won't go too deep on that, as that happened like 3 days ago. Tyrese has already had surgery. We're moving on. We did have breaking news last night, Bloom. Georges Niang traded.
Yeah.
To the Boston Celtics.
Hometown
which
team.
I have not spoken to George yet. I'm assuming he's going to be excited about that. I would just think that would be a thing for him, that he, like, going home and he gets to put on that iconic green jersey. I'm guessing he dreamed of wearing that when he was a kid. This seems like a good thing for him.
No doubt. And they're in the middle of a weird situation in Boston. They're unloading a bunch of their guys just because they're way over the salary cap, essentially. So they're not going to be as good. They'll still be, an Eastern Conference contender. And, assuming the thing is, C-Dub, so we're right around the NBA draft, which people don't realize it starts tonight. So,
yeah, the draft is tonight. We're recording this on Wednesday morning.
So there's a lot of movement around this time. I assume George will end up a Celtic, but again, you don't really know for sure.
That's a good point.
Until all this stuff settles out by, honestly, the first 2 weeks of July.
Yeah, he could get dealt 3 more times.
I mean, he's an attractive piece for a couple of reasons. One, he's a good dude. He'll fit in anywhere. But then also, he's a low dollar player that can be moved in little packages here and there to fill a role. So I'm just saying, I hope so.
He fits pretty much every team, like the style of play. Everybody could use a stretch shooter like him at that position.
Absolutely.
Who's a good clubhouse guy.
Yeah, and he's played, gosh, how many teams has he played for now? I mean, it's a bunch. Like, there's a reason
he needs to write a book.
There's a reason he keeps sticking. But again, I think he'll end up in Boston, but it's not a guarantee. So that's why I was like, good for him for now, but we'll wait until judgment.
Good point. I hadn't thought about it like that. Sick to my stomach. Sunday night, we were in Florida when Tyrese went down, and I couldn't even. It totally just. I'm sure everybody else watching, listening to our show felt the same way. Just completely ruined it. He's such a good guy. You know him very well through the collective. I love his family. Just really, really, really sucks. And I think that the biggest part that sucks for me is just the fact that he's going to lose out on a lot of this momentum for next year. And he can come back better and stronger and all that stuff. But he was on a rocket ship, man, especially if they could have won that game and they were in a really good spot when he goes down. Not to say that they would have finished it against a really good Thunder team, but I just still sick for him thinking about how it all went down.
Yeah, and knowing Tyrese, he probably wasn't sick for himself, although that could not have been a fun situation to go through, but sick for everybody else that he, quote-unquote, let down.
Yeah.
And you kind of caught that in his Twitter post the next day of, man, that was rough. I mean, it's, similar to when Brock got hurt in the, was it the NFC East Championship a couple of years ago. And the good news for Brock is he bounced back and, was better the next year. And so it's going to be hard. Those Achilles things are becoming more common, but it's a year deal. So he probably won't play at all next year. And for the Pacers, that's a super bummer. So I think more than anything, Tyrese is probably bummed out for those fans for, quote unquote, letting them down. But it doesn't change my opinion on the guy. It's unfortunate because you're right. He was headed towards super stardom if he wasn't there already. But there's no question, for those who, he'll still be there. He'll still be there.
Yeah, he's still young. It's not like he's
exactly. He's got that long-term contract. That surgery's getting a lot better. So he'll still be a factor, but definitely, pit in your stomach type of day on Sunday when he went down.
I wanted to throw up. I wanted to throw up.
Yeah,
it completely ruined the night. Like just felt so bad for him, and I was thinking about his dad, and they were really good people at Iowa State. They weren't here for very long. There was not much to celebrate at that time. That was pre-pandemic, but it was the prom years are really interesting. There were some really good times, and then there were times where it was really you don't have
for a while.
Yeah, and Tyrese was like the real lone bright, like the shining star. As far as the one thing I think Steve's teams, once that first team was gone, they had a harder time, I think, connecting to the fan base. They just weren't. They didn't, and not any of their fault. Like Taylor Horton Tucker is only there for a year, but he's not a guy who smiles a lot and talks a lot.
Shayok wasn't a real.
No, like they're just quieter guys. Yeah, nothing wrong with them. Tyrese was that perfect. It felt like another Niang, another Naz. I love the guy. It sucks, and selfishly, I'll get very selfish here. I was really becoming an Indiana Pacers fan.
Yeah. You're not alone.
I was on the verge of buying the league pass next year, that type of thing.
You know what the cool thing
like
is?
I did when George and Monte and they were all out west.
They are blacked out in Iowa for some reason.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah, but now talk to me.
I'm not buying the league
I can help
pass.
you for a few ways around that. But anyway, there are the thing with Tyrese, and this is where I think this tells a story, though. Like, he has been counted out, forgotten about. When he got to Iowa State, that jump shot is hideous. There's no way he's going to make it. This is another chapter in his story. I mean, honestly, like, you go back to the NBA draft times, there are people like, he'll be a role player, all of these things. Even the Kings kind of gave up on him when they traded him to Indiana. And so this is another part of his story of like, all right, I'm going to be counted out again. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And I think,
way to look at it, Brent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, for him, it's a redemption story in a lot of ways, and he's been living that his entire life. He didn't play on a high-level AAU team. He played with his buddies. That's why he wasn't recruited. Then he gets to Iowa State, and they thought they were going to redshirt him, and he's like, we can't keep this guy off the floor, and on and on and on and on.
I'll never forget that season opener, and Haliburton's out, or not Haliburton's out, Wigginson's out.
Wigginton, yeah. Yeah, and then Tyrese came in, and they're like, oh my gosh,
we got
really
a problem here. Because Wigginton was not sharing the floor with anybody.
It is funny looking back, because that's 6 years ago now. It's like we're like, oh, how we don't want to upset Lindell Wigginton because of Tyrese Haliburton. And now look at it like how. But that's what I say. You can't always predict basketball, and I think it's another good lesson, honestly, for all future Iowa State basketball is. Preconceived notions don't always come true in regards to recruits and hype and expectations. So just because a guy might feel off or why are they recruiting that guy, you don't always know the story until they get to Ames. And Tyrese, from the day he got to Ames and from every single day since, was hell-bent on proving people wrong. And this will just be another part of his chapter.
Speaking of that, I'm actually, Aiden, check the chat. I just asked you for something in there real quick, buddy. All right, so Jake Brend has started at not Iowa State, at Cyclone Fanatic. We talked about it about a week and a half ago, I think, that it was coming. Jake's been doing a really good job. I'm really excited about what he's bringing to the picture. With these daily updates that we're starting. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, subscribe to the Cyclone Fanatic channel on YouTube, Cyclone Fanatic TV. Obviously, we're putting them all on the podcast feed as well. There is a video component to a lot of these, but basically what we're trying to do, Brent, is we're trying to give you the news of the day. What do you need to know as an Iowa State fan? Sometimes it's Big 12. Sometimes it's Iowa State. It's an Iowa State story 4 days out of the week, Monday through Thursday. Well, yesterday, Iowa State had its first basketball media availability of the summer. And I am cautious with these always because this is National Signing Day circa 2009 where everybody had a great class. Like no coach is like, we missed out on that guy. That guy decommitted at the last minute. No, like everybody is excited. And it a little bit with these summer workouts, right? Where these coaches are always going to say, well, this is like things are going really well. This guy's shot is better. This guy's put on weight. This guy's being more aggressive, yada, yada, yada. I was really proud of Iowa State. So shout out to the sports information director, Ryan Workman, for giving us Dominic Nelson via availability yesterday.
That was awesome.
Normally, this is a deal where you get Lipsy and Momcilovic and Jefferson, and you keep the newcomers off in the corner. Not what happened yesterday. We got to learn a little bit about this Dominic Nelson, who was the WAC Player of the Year last year. He was the last piece of this transfer class. We're learning more and more about Mason Williams, who's going to miss the season. Eastern Washington. Shout out to our premium subscribers. You guys have been on the edge of that for a long time now. And it felt like they brought this Dominic Nelson in as kind of an insurance chip.
That's exactly what I mean. You go back and listen to the podcast, remember, and I was like, hey, we could use a little help here.
Yes.
That was
this
exactly
was all part of the deal.
Dominic Nelson, yeah.
And the thing is, they liked Nelson before too. So this reminds me very much of the Curtis Jones situation as far as how it worked out. Jones wasn't their first choice in the sense like they had other guys who, and then it was kind of like, okay, this guy really wants to be here. We really like his motor. Let's give him a shot. And that's what Iowa State did with this Dominic Nelson. Now you look at him. You love his size. You love his defense. You love his motor. You don't love his shooting percentage, right? Yep. Like that is the one eyesore when it comes to Dominic Nelson. Yesterday, he had this to say about his time in Ames thus far.
Main reasons I also chose to come here. I mean, the development piece, that was the biggest part. And then it wasn't like they're just like, we have development. It didn't show, like they had proof, you know what I'm saying? They had proof and showed me everything. So it was like, I seen the work that they put in. Obviously, they showed me Taman, which helped a lot also. But just being able to show me all that and apply it.
Last season.
There you go. That's from Jake's story yesterday. Again, you could subscribe to Cyclone Fanatic anywhere. And you can listen and watch the whole thing. The point is, his shooting, he says, is already better. Otzelberger backed it up. He's put on 10 pounds in the small amount of time that he's been here. I caution everybody with this, but by all means, him and Blake Buchanan, it sounds like things are going really, really well so far.
Yeah. And again, I get it. It's June workouts. Those guys usually have a pretty good track record. If number one, C-Dub, but now let me just, skill-wise is one thing. Athletically, movement, bounce, energy, motor, those things you get right away. And I think for Buchanan, for Nelson, I'm going to throw Mulder in there as well. And the freshmen have really come in with a intent to grow and learn. I mean, keep in mind, everybody, it was just a year ago, Iowa State got a freshman on campus, and he was gone by now because he couldn't hack it. Okay? That's not the case here. I think everyone's bought in here. The thing that's really helped Iowa State, and another credit to the fan base for what you did to help the collective out, is by retaining Joshua and Taman and Milan and Nate. It sets the culture right away. Like, this is how we do things. You will do it this way. And it's not what's the Paul Rhodes? You don't have people, the goat rodeo running around. The
goat rodeo. What about that?
These guys came into work and they've been working. And Nelson got here early, by the way. He got here early to try and get his work in before workouts to get acclimated and get ready to go. And he has been nothing short of exceptional. I talked to TJ not in his session, and he echoed that privately too. So this isn't just lip service of, hey, we want to make the kid feel good in the media. It's been him and Buchanan both have been awesome. Now, I wouldn't call them surprises because they kind of thought this is what they would get, but in terms of production already, in regards to what the market was, Iowa State did awesome on both those guys.
Yeah, I was in there. It was over a month ago interviewing TJ for the book, and he took me down to see Buchanan, who was working out. And for fans who don't have the privilege to see these things, it was really fascinating. I mean, you've got this transfer in the gym by himself with like 6 GAs and managers or whatever around him, like cheering him on, like the energy thing.
It's real.
And that's like, so Plita is not on campus yet.
Yeah, so let me get quick situation on him. TJ addressed it. So I'm learning more about international politics and visas than I need to know. His visa's been approved. He hasn't received his visa yet. Like, you need the actual paper.
Yeah, it's like when you're waiting for your passport.
Yeah, it's very similar, I think. And so, like, it's not a matter of, again, I don't think there's concern he's not going to make it. It's just the international state office or whatever you want to call it in the government doesn't work on the Iowa State practice schedule timeline.
Yeah, they're not like pushing this because TJ Otzelberger wants his guy.
And
I guess the point I was going to.
Yeah.
So TJ said in that part of the interview, and you can go watch all these interviews. They're on our Cyclone Fanatic YouTube page and front page and all that stuff. He goes, I wish he would have been here 10 days ago or whatever. Well, part of the reason, and you brought up the young man who didn't make it last year, who didn't stick it out.
Yep.
It's because of that. Like, so when I go down there and I'm watching Buchanan like run up and down the floor by himself with these 6 managers just chasing him around and like cheering and like yelling at him and like doing whatever they do. That's the type of thing that, like, why it's so important for OTS to have all these guys here. And when they come early, it gives them that much of an advantage when it comes to June. It's another thing. Hassan Ward had a similar deal where he couldn't make it because of a visa, and he struggled for it that first year. We didn't see Hassan Ward really until second semester start to hit his stride, and really it was his second year where you're like, oh, that's the player that they got, that they thought they were recruiting. But from what I've gathered is that Buchanan is a really, really perfect fit to what they want defensively. Like, and offensively, he's not Joshua Jefferson.
No, wasn't. But you have Joshua Jefferson.
But they wanted that rebounder, rim protector, long 5. And from what I've gathered, private conversations, what TJ said yesterday, like they really, really like that piece so far.
Yep. And Mulder as an undersized 5, but he's going to play the 5. Very athletic, very mobile. And this
he's just kind of a dog too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Mulder.
Just doesn't like.
Yeah.
I think people have this conception. Oh well, he didn't score in the Horizon League. He's not there to score. He's there to rebound and kick ass, basically. Like that's if you want that's what Mulder's role is going to be. Think more Rob Jones for both Buchanan and Mulder than Deshaun Jackson, and that's what the staff wanted. I mean, that's not a shot on Deshaun, and I'll even like our guy Chatfield, physical guy, not real mobile though. And I think what Iowa State learned last year, specifically in the pick and roll defense, is those 5s really need to be athletic and move. because the way they switch things, the way they trap, the Deshaun and Chatfield, who were big but not necessarily mobile, didn't quite do it. So I again, super encouraging early. You don't know for sure until the lights go on, but as far as roster construction on June 25th, with the limitations Iowa State was under, keep in mind Iowa State's salary C-Dub will still be about half of what some of the peers are in the Big 12, honestly. And so you really had to do some creative things. And I think so far it's worked for, making sure the pieces fit with the resources you did have.
Want to thank our friends over at Central States Roofing for sponsoring the program. You can check out their website. They are a commercial roofing company. I think they're the best dang one in the state of Iowa. CSRroofing.com. If your business needs roofing repair, I would encourage you to check them out. Any sorts of roofing. They can extend the life of your roof. They can build you a new one. New construction, Central States Roofing, CSRroofing.com. They are diehard Cyclones, and we appreciate their sponsorship of us here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network, of course. Want to thank our friends at the Iowa State University Foundation. Go to MoveWhatMatters.com. Shooting a new commercial for them coming up next week, Bloom, where the wife is going to be in it. We're going to do for the Vet Med.
Well, you classed up the production a little bit.
Yeah, we got to find a pet cancer doctor that's going to be on the promotion with us. So looking forward to that. I love, I know you're passionate about it too, just promoting these different pockets of Iowa State that really matter. And that's a very important one to me and my family.
I want to give a quick shout out. A couple of my colleagues there in the foundation, Katie and Kyle, had a huge help for me last week with connecting me with a donor that directly helped NIL. And so again, this is the cool part is all these things are connected together and everyone's on Team Iowa State. And that's the foundation. I know might get tiresome. Hey, you keep asking me. Well, everyone's trying to help Iowa State, athletics included. And you got some really good people up there.
HopewoodJD.com. You can get your will done in a day. HopewoodJD.com. It's funny. These things like getting your will done don't really move the needle. It's not like, hey, I'm trying to sell you Cody Road bourbon. I bet Hope's been one of the most successful advertisers we've ever had. It's because everybody needs to get a will done, but you don't want to do it. HopewoodJD.com. She's your gal. She is your gal. All right. Do you have any other men's basketball? Because I have a couple of
I would say
things again, I wanted to move on to.
It's been a week of workouts, but very very promising so far. And I think Iowa State's going to be very good again. One thing that TJ highlighted, and the thing I was at last week with him, but also in that press conference that is really worth noting, this is a great stat. He said Milan Momcilovic is the only player in the country, C-Dub, 6'8" or taller, that shot over 40% from three and made 2 threes per game. And the goal is to get him over 3 threes per game this year. So just like we've talked about, Momcilovic is, I know, the X factor, but they're going to get that guy all sorts of shots. Like everyone's like, where's the shooting coming from? Look for number 22 to shoot it a lot. And I think, seriously, after talking with TJ, talking to the staff, there's a world this year where that guy's, pushing 17, 20 points per game.
Let's go.
Yeah. So that's where everyone's like, where's it coming from? Like Iowa State, by returning Momcilovic, the kind of offers he was getting, that was a huge win, and I think you're really going to start to see that development piece for him, too, come to fruition.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Let's move on to 2 football topics that I have for us here on your Wednesday. Jake Brand is working on a piece right now. I'm not sure exactly when it will air. What is the most important part of the Iowa State football upcoming season for success? Now, that is a very, very broad conversation to have.
Win more games than you lose. No.
All right. I'll tell you what I said.
All right.
And I only did it in about 45 seconds, so I can elaborate here. But to me, it's the quarterback.
Oh.
Now, let me explain this here. Because I think it'd be easy to say the D-line, I think the obvious one is staying healthy, but isn't that the case for every team?
Fair.
Right? Like, so, like, to me, let's
You could say
drill this thing.
turnovers.
Yeah,
no,
like,
that's
okay,
everything.
like, yeah, nobody can be terrible on turnovers and have a great season. I also think it's interesting to go, what does having a great season mean? Like, does that mean win 10 games? Does that, like, whatever. This is your oyster. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. The reason I say Rocco is I don't think it's possible for the defense to have as poor of statistics as it did a year ago if it's healthy, because it's the injuries, right? Like, you can draw a direct correlation to the like rush defense and all that stuff with the linebackers and the amount of injuries that they had. So even if, let's just say in a worst case scenario world, all the D linemen they brought in suck by their standards, which I don't think that that's going to be the case. I still think the defense will be better as far as the rush defense goes. Now, corner, I need to see a little bit, right? Some questions there. But they have a pretty good track record with it as far as filling those gaps and those sorts of things. Then you could say the wide receivers, because, you know, you lose 2 to the National Football League. That's a pretty big deal. 2 of the most productive receivers in the history of Iowa State football. But I truly believe we're going to see more tight ends. We're going to see more ball control. We're going to see more out of the running game. I think Abu Sama has a bounce back year.
Hansen as well. You still got Carson.
Of course, Carson, yeah. But I think Abu will be the guy who do you buy stock low in right now?
I forgot about that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he would be my pick there. I guess what I'm saying is, as long as everything else around is solid, which I think there will be ups and downs. I think they'll be solid, though. I think the guys you guys brought in, as far as receivers go, are pretty good. I think it'll take them quarter of the year to really hit their stride. Yep. But I think the tight ends are going to help make up for it.
Yep.
If that is all the case, you've got to have an elite quarterback to max out. Because I like Iowa State's roster. I don't love Iowa State's roster across the board. I think it's good. I don't think it's great when you compare it to the Arizona States, when you compare it to, right, some of the competition. It's a very good Big 12 roster. So you're going to have to win with like the culture thing. And I think the quarterback position has to ascend from good to great. And Rocco, I think, has been very good. I don't think he's been great. I think there's room there when I go back and watch his games where he can just get better. And I know that he knows that too. He's got to complete 62, 63% of his passes, cut down on those bad turnovers.
It's got to be even in the high 60s, honestly.
You think so? Okay. I was being conservative.
He was at 62 last year.
I thought he was lower. I thought he was in the 50s.
Aiden, pull it up. Pull up.
I'm pretty sure he was in the 50s.
Was he in the 50s? Anyway, you're right. Cut down on turnovers, at least the pick sixes. And this is what's great, C-Dub. This is what I say about Rocco, is we've seen it already. Like, it's not a question of can he do it.
I know he can do it.
That Miami game, he was unbelievable in that game. Go watch that again against some high-end guys. And that, by the way, did not have Jaden Higgins in that game.
We should watch that some night.
Oh my, he was so good. He was really, really good that day. Like, really good. And Rocco knows it too. This is the great thing about Rocco. He is literally seated up right there with Brock from people I've been around that know what it takes, like leading from the get-go. Okay, here are the numbers. Last year, he was only 59.4%.
I thought so.
There we go. Yeah, so we got to get that.
So if he was 62.9 in 2003, 65 has got to be the goal.
I mean, the rating is great point, and he knows it. He knows that.
He does know it. Yeah, I talked to him about it in a podcast a few months ago.
And the coaches know he is extremely capable to get that up there. I think he can be the best quarterback in the league. I really do. And those receivers, by the way, you mentioned them. I talked to Rocco a little bit last week. He thinks the world of those transfers coming in. And again, he's not going to say, hey, they're Jalen and Jaden, because they won't be. But as far as work ethic, effort, putting in the work to get there, 2 really good dudes. And I think you guys will. I spent some time with Chase on Sunday at this charity softball thing, C-Dub. Amazing young man. he's going to be, and then I think the world of Townsend too. Like, there's going to be new faces, but I agree with you. If Rocco can go from good to great to elite even, you're talking about an offense that has a super high ceiling still, and the defense, I think, will be better. Now, the thing you can't predict in football, and we're not trying to do that here, is those one possession games.
Correct.
Iowa State.
Do you miss a kick? Do you have a bad special teams? Do you fumble? Yeah.
Think about how many things had to go right at times for Iowa State last year. Like, it's not just like that Conradi kick, the halfback pass against Utah, Rocco's drive against UCF, the Miami drive late. Like, a lot of things had to cause 11 wins, right? And it's not like you can expect that always. However, I think the infrastructure of this team is really strong, and Rocco's good to great takes them to another level. I really believe that.
Well, and usually when your leader goes from good to great, others follow.
And he has already gotten better, as you know. Like, everything is really good for him right now. He's healthy. He was dinged up at times last year, so this isn't going to be on Rocco's work ethic or leadership. It's going to be, how do all the pieces come together, and how quickly can he get those new receivers into the system, and then for those tight ends, I think you could have a monster Ben Bramer year, and I think that gets lost here.
Yeah.
So
that would be another guy to buy stock in. How
does everything fit together? And you got a tough one right off the bat with K-State, but just from all of the behind the scenes stuff, they're super high on this group, and you don't know for sure. We're 2 months away, but I think the setup is really good for this team to compete to play for a Big 12 championship, and I think that's got to be the goal. I'm not saying you need to win one. I'm saying you need to be. My aspiration for this team, C-Dub, is mid-November. You have a chance to get down to Dallas.
I would agree. That's exactly where I would put it. The tight end piece is I'm greatly conflicted here, because I hate having 2-3 tight ends on the field at the same time. It's nails on the chalkboard for me. But I also, when I look at this roster, especially with the running backs, like I think that they're pretty good. Like, it does I think the other interesting part of this will be Rocco's run game. Is this because I think that he's going to have whatever the rushing. I think he's going to have opportunities to run. The question will be if they want him to, and if he wants to. I interviewed his dad last year, and it didn't sound like Coach was real keen on Rocco running the ball too much. But I do think that has to be a part of this.
And so the interim part here, let me give you a little, is this a situation where, because Moberly and Mansky are super athletic.
Yeah.
Do you try and get them involved in some capacity as, I don't want to call them gadget players, but
I'm all for it. I mean, I've always been all for playing multiple quarterbacks at this level. Like, it's just, to me, like, make it as difficult for the defense as possible.
And so one other thing, because it's been like 2 weeks since we had a podcast, so I got a lot on my mind today. The Omaha kid, the quarterback that flipped to Alabama.
Yeah.
I think people, assume you can assume whatever you want, and they're young kids. People have forgotten Iowa State has Alex Mansky.
Yeah.
And
Connor Moberly.
And Connor Moberly. So I think that was a situation as well, by the way, in a good way for Iowa State. The point is,
isn't that wild that a kid could potentially make a decision on depth at Iowa State quarterback compared to Alabama?
Mansky, so they think the world of Moberly, and he's a great dude, really good player, but Mansky's come in already off his injury, and it's like, okay, this guy's got something here. So, again, not to say they didn't want Tamala, because they absolutely did. I'm not going to be that guy. But as we talked about when he committed, this quarterback room is set up fairly well, and it's pretty clear when as you know, C-Dub, when a quarterback gets on campus and they don't have it, well, Mansky has it. Like, he's going to be a player, and he'll be in this room as long as, he'll compete. He'll compete next year, maybe even as soon if Rocco goes to the league to be a starting quarterback. I really believe that.
All right, would you challenge? So you wouldn't challenge me at all the way I laid out my key to the successful. What is your definition of successful? But
for me, it's defensive line pressure. Like, you just got to get more, and and I know they're going to be better at that. Is that Caleb Bacon, who's healthy?
That's the kicker for me.
Yeah,
all these transfers,
and they got numbers there, but.
Yeah, I feel like they're all going to be like okay, and I don't know. I have no idea. I've never seen them play. My whole thing is like I don't see the production at the previous level that makes me think that guy's going to come and just be an absolute disruptor.
Sure, you don't have Will McDonald walking.
Correct, and so I don't expect that from them. Like, to put that on them is not fair. That's not who they are. It's not why they're being brought in. But I just look at it like, to me, whatever the ceiling is, let's say that group, when it comes to putting pressure on the quarterback, let's say the ceiling is I don't know what like on a scale of 1 to 10, the ceiling's probably like a 6?
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, like they're not going to be a 10.
You're not expecting them to be a 10.
Like Rocco, if Rocco was a 6 or a 7 last year, he can get to a 10, and I don't think that's hard to do for him.
He's an NFL guy. I truly believe
that's why I'm putting this on him, because I think that is like your best opportunity to take a huge jump is at your quarterback, which is already really good, but I think he can be even better.
Watch, like, there are drives last year. It's like, holy crap. What Rocco does is not normal. Just the gamer. You know, the drive against Iowa. That throw, by the way, to Knoll on that sideline route, considering that situation, go watch that again. Holy smokes. Mm-hmm. There's honestly, CW, a handful of players in Iowa State history I think could make that throw, have the guts to make that throw, and he put it on the number. So, great point. I think Rocco has it in him. That's why we're kind of putting this on him. The defensive line, we just don't know. And so to expect a Ezeagu or a Same or the Yale kid or a Von Troy Malone to come in, we don't know yet. We know we've seen Rocco do it at the highest of highs, and I think that's where this discussion comes from.
I also think you got to factor in Mauser's had a year of calling plays too, and I think he likes the tight end thing. He's a much more aggressive coordinator, I think, than Iowa State has had with like Tom Manning. I think Mauser's probably the most aggressive coordinator I've ever covered, as far as terms of like wanting to push the limits. And so I guess I'm okay with him. With Taylor, as far as the tight ends thing go, if this is, I didn't like Manning's use of the tight ends, and I don't think it was a Tom thing. I think it was we've got Breece Hall, we've got Brock who can run. You know what I mean?
We're gonna stick it down their throat.
Yeah, I don't think that it was like Tom being stubborn. I love Tom. I think he's great, and I thought Iowa State won a lot of games because of him. Like you go back to Oklahoma in 2017, like Tom called some really, really good games at Iowa State.
And the numbers were really good, by the way, just pure data.
Yeah, I still think like my biggest regret for Iowa State football under Campbell, and there are not many, would be 2021. I just don't think they did enough.
They didn't.
But I guess what I'm saying is I think that Mauser, even if they're playing a lot of tight ends, I think he's going to do weird stuff, which is... I hope he does at least, but that's the feeling I get because he's a tight end guy. Like this is what he doesn't think of them like I do. I think of tight ends as these statues that are there to block. Like no, like that's not what these guys are. And I think that Taylor having a year under his belt, I thought he called great games last year for a first-time offensive coordinator. I think he's a future head coach. All those two, but he'll be better anytime you do something for the second time around. You're going to be better.
And Bramer's just different than the tight ends Iowa State had available throughout most of last year.
Yeah, I mean, Bramer was barely there.
He's a big receiver, is what he is. Yeah. And so I think you could call him a tight end, and he is, but, I mean,
no doubt.
Saw Ben Sunday. God, what a monster he is, by the way. I mean.
Nice young man.
Nice young, and a great guy. Great guy. Really good golfer. Too. So a lot of respect for Ben Bramer. Got a hole-in-one. Ben Bramer got a hole-in-one a couple weeks ago, he told me.
Really?
He's been playing for like 2 years, and of course he gets one. I've been playing for damn near 40, and I haven't got one.
You know that Jake Brenn's a big golfer.
I heard Jake Brenn. We got to go. Jake and I were talking. We had a podcast. We were going to do an emergency Tyrese Haliburton NBA championship podcast.
I heard. Yeah.
It's going to be the first ever Brent and Blum podcast, and it didn't happen. But now we're going to go golfing instead.
Appreciate that. Let me thank our friends at Gravitate Co-working real quick.
See, look, that was my hole-in-one effort, everybody. Last Tuesday, literally hit the pin, bounced away. I haven't been that disappointed since 2000 Michigan State game season.
The problem with that, Brent, the way I look at that, and because I'm like a law of averages type, like that was probably your hole-in-one.
I know, exactly.
Right?
I have never had one.
Like that was your moment.
I mean, it hit the pin and it bounced out, and I had a group of 100 donors that I was about to buy Ames Loggers for, C-Dub. But no. So it saved me a lot of money, quite honestly. But I would have...
You'd trade that. You would trade that money for the whole...
I was so ready. I was going to... Olive Johnson, I was at Hyperion. Olive Johnson was going to have an Ames Logger on me at that point.
I watched my sister get one.
Of course. So your sister had a one.
God, she was like 12, 13. I was a young buck. She had a pink ball, hole 16 at Clorinda.
My twin brother got one in front of me, which was like horrible.
I had the double eagle. Did you know I have a double eagle?
You have told me that one, which is
Mike Dreyer was with me. It was on 2 at Shenandoah. Crazy. I got a 2 on a par 5, and it was one of those. It was like August, and this is when I had finally started hitting the ball again, right? And I pulled my 3-wood. I don't know, 200 out. But you remember 2? You have to go over that.
Oh, absolutely. You got to go over that.
And it was a
nice little track down there.
I still can't believe, because I'm not a long player. Like, that's just not my game. It was just because it was so dry.
You got that good rollout. And
the pin placement was just right at the front of the green. And I had the wind behind me. Like, everything was perfect. So I look at it, I'll never get a real hole-in-one, because that was my hole-in-one. Like, that was my shot. And the problem is I got a freaking 2 with it. That's my luck. Like, it was so lucky.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even good at golf. Like,
you're not terrible.
I can't wait until I'm 50 and these kids are a little older and I'm not running 15 businesses and I'm going to golf again. Damn it.
There we go. Damn it. Make golf great again.
I should probably just go to Gravitate Co-working. I get a lot more done during the day.
No doubt.
GravitateCoworking.com. Get your co-working on. Good. I was talking with our buddy Paul Shirley. He does a co-working spot out in Denver, and I said
that podcast with Paul Shirley. Nice
thank
job.
you.
What an interesting fella.
He's coming to town here in a few weeks. I should take him to Gravitate, see if he could talk with Jeff Wood. That'd be a good network.
Those two would get along great.
Yeah, really good idea that I just had. Yeah. All right. We're going to over-under real quick. This won't take us long. This is our Whiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment. Plant your independence, plant Whiffles.
Driving through, you ever been to Holland, Iowa? Was in Holland, Iowa yesterday.
My stomping grounds, baby.
Yeah, I thought of you. I thought of you, Aiden. I waved at your farmstead. I asked how are the yields from my car.
Bloom loves that. Just goes up to just random...
I did.
Hey, how are the yields?
I went to the Holland truck stop and just found a random farmer. Hey, how are your yields doing? He said, "Leave me alone, sir." No, a lot of wiffle signage.
Pretty dry, eh?
Yeah, a lot of wiffle signage in Aiden's old stomping ground. So they know quality when they see it.
Plant your independence. We're gonna go over under 2.5 years on every Big 12 coach. Will he be over or under 2.5 years at his current school?
Oh, okay. We're gonna rapid fire. Do I gotta? I haven't.
We're just gonna do it really. And I got him. I got my athlon here. We're gonna go alphabetical.
Let's go. You play along at home, everybody.
Brent Brennan. Hey, could we get a little yakety sax? Yeah. I feel like that'd be appropriate for the little off-season yakety sax. So Brent Brennan in Arizona.
I need some rule clarifications here. Does this include this year as year one?
Yeah.
Like this upcoming. Okay.
Yep.
Brennan under.
I agree. Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State.
Oh.
This is tough.
I'm going to go over because they are spending a crap ton on football right now and trying to keep him happy.
I'll go under. He's at like USC or.
See, it'd be Oregon, USC.
He's going to one of those Big Ten schools.
I mean, he wasn't out. He was in the SEC for a little bit too. Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think Arizona State's all in on him.
Dave Aranda at Baylor.
Under. This might be it. Now they're high on Robertson. Now
they like their team this year.
I know.
I'm pretty really tight with those Baylor guys over there.
But this is concerning. This is why I'm going to go under C-Dub, because they like the team. The hype is still pretty good down there.
Yeah.
He's going to underachieve again.
The answer is unequivocally under.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that this is his he's already fired everybody. He's already done all that. He has no other chances. So any other letdown, they're going to fire.
He's on year 5 or 6 there already. I mean, he's kind of gone through a couple lives already.
Kalani Sitake at BYU.
Oh, this is interesting. Did you see they just got the number 1 quarterback in the country yesterday?
That's why I would say over for this guy.
Yeah, but it's going to be one of those deals where I know they like him there, but they might think we can pay for somebody even better. Because BYU, a lot like Arizona State, BYU's at times 5 Arizona State even. They're like, them and Tech are like, we're going to spend our way to the top of this conference. And so there's a reason why that happened last week, or today, I should say. Because you can pay high school kids up until June 30th, just like you could pay portal kids. So they gave him a monster package, I am sure of it, to get him to commit. That high school kid. So point is...
So what if that kid decommits in 2 years? Does he still get paid?
Depends what the contract says. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Jeez. I'll go over because I think that...
I'll go over as well, but I'm nervous that they might say, we need to get somebody better.
But I could see them just being 9-3 every year, and it keeps him there.
Keeps him going. I agree.
And I don't think that... I think his candle is kind of burned up as far as he's kind of missed his chance to... I don't know if he's sexy enough to get one of those...
I agree with that too.
This one's easy. Scott Satterfield's getting fired, right?
Yeah, he's
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders at Colorado.
Under. I think C-Dub. I'd put that over under at, he'll get through this year. He's got, and I'm not making light of this at all. He's got health situations as well, by the way. I could see a world where Deion's like, I'm going to the NFL or,
Yeah, I'd probably play the under.
Yeah.
I'll go with you there.
Yeah.
Willie Fritz at Houston.
Over. That's a long-term play.
Yeah, Fritz isn't a quick fix guy. And he's so old now that he's not gonna.
This is it.
He's not.
Yeah,
this is his last stop, probably.
Yeah.
Matt Campbell at Iowa State.
Year 10. I'll go over.
Yeah.
I'm going over. Yeah, I'm going over. He's not going. I truly don't believe. I don't think he'll. I'm playing
Bill Snyder.
Right, Bill Snyder didn't go anywhere else.
Matt's going to be rolling through the Taco Bell at age 70 on Lincoln Way.
I will say this, and this is not a threat. This is not. I don't mean this to be a threat.
Who are you threatening?
No, the Techs, the Arizona States, the BYUs, the TCUs, the Baylors are all really trying to stay competitive in this world, and I'm not blaming anybody at Iowa State.
Nobody at Iowa. I'll say it. I'll say what you're not wanting to say. The way Iowa State keeps Otzelberger and Campbell is that they can show that they can be financially competitive.
And that doesn't necessarily come from the administration. It's from factors, honestly, state factors even.
Yeah. They have to have a chance. They're not going to take a butter knife to a gunfight every single time.
And that's why it's that 2.5 year window is perfect specific for Matt and TJ both. You'll know by then. I mean, Jamie has said it. They have the reserves to handle a little bit of interim here, not for 5 years. So I'm telling you guys, all your investment from either personally, I know you're getting tired of it, but company-wise, corporate-wise, state-wise, all the ways. If you want that to be an over, Iowa State's got to find different mechanisms to help fund it.
Lance Leipold at Kansas.
He's not going anywhere, and they're not going to.
I would take the over.
I'll take the over.
Chris Kleiman at Kansas State.
Same. He's staying there. He
feels like a guy, and they don't.
There.
Yeah, they don't move on from coaches.
No.
Mike Gundy.
Under. This is
easy
it.
play there.
I think he's
Sonny Dykes.
I could see them getting itchy down there. I'm gonna go under.
I'll play the over with him.
Okay.
I'll go contrarian to that.
I'll go under.
I think they're going to be better this year, and I could see them being on a little bit of a steady rise.
Okay.
They have money.
Yep.
And again, like, I think that his star is maybe burned out a little bit. Like, let's say they're 10-2 this year.
Yeah.
Well, if they were
SEC's not
10-2
calling
after the
out.
playoff year, he would have been gone.
And
I don't know.
And then C-Dub, honestly, like, financially, to keep him, they can compete with anybody in the SEC.
Yeah.
They really can.
This is a tricky one. Joey McGuire at Texas Tech. I'm going to say under.
I'm going to go under as well. I think
too much pressure with the roster.
Too much. It's like the NBA, like Tom Thibodeau.
Good point.
You get so much on you, and it's not necessarily your fault because you help bring those guys in.
But
However,
like the problem he's got is everybody knows how much they're spending. So now
about it.
It's like the Yankees manager in 2007.
Yes,
like
Steinbrenner era. They got a lot of cooks in that kitchen now down in Lubbock, and he might be the cook that gets let go.
Scott Frost.
Scott, he'll over based on no other options.
Kyle Whittingham at Utah. That's interesting.
Under.
Yeah, he's going to retire.
I think
hand
he'll
it off
retire
to somebody
in 2
else.
Years. Yeah, I do. I think he's got 2 years left.
Rich Rod.
How old is
What
Rich
is this
Rod?
league?
Yeah, this
Media
league-
Days is going to be great. I can't wait for this. The only thing we're missing is Holgerson. I got to get Holgie back.
Let's get Holgie back in here.
Man.
Rich Rod, I'll go over but that's it.
Can we get Bo Pelini in the league? You got to go over.
Can we get Tuberville back from the Senate?
I don't know, though. Like, the Rich Rod thing, I could see him getting fired after 2 years. I really could.
I don't know how recruiting's going there at all. I don't think it's going great.
I don't know either. I just know that fan base is really nuts, and they're going to just expect the old Rich Rod days, and it ain't coming back.
It's not this year, for sure.
So, like, what if they're 3-9 2 years in a row? Like, they would fire him.
Yes, they would.
I don't think they're going to be very good.
Is that everybody? Have we nailed them all?
That's the whole Big 12.
Okay. What
that was a fun little exercise.
That was, yeah.
I came up with that about 10 minutes before the show.
Hey, don't give up all
We
the
need
secrets.
to just do that just to bring Yakety Sax back. I just need to come up with over-unders for us.
Let us know what you think on the forums, would you?
I'm sure they will. These guys aren't shy. Those guys aren't shy. All right, that was fun. Bloom, appreciate you. Thanks to Aiden Wyatt for producing, as always. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Mechdyne. Remember, Jake Brent is doing a great job with these videos, guys. We are really working hard to freshen up all of Cyclone Fanatic and give you guys more of the content that you want and need as we work into the football season. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. And tell your friends about the work Jake's doing. You can watch him on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I think that's it. And listening to it, of course, on the podcast. We will be back on Sunday night. It's my birthday on Sunday. A little birthday episode of the pod. Looking forward to that. Aiden Wyatt producing. Have a great rest of your week.